former President Donald Trump can add another person to the long list of people that he has ripped off. The White House photographer. Oh, interesting. So now the New York Times is reporting that as Trump's first term drew to a close, Shealah Craighead, the chief White House photographer, wanted to put out a book of some of the most significant images that she had captured from the Trump White House, from the 4 years that Donald Trump was president. So now there's nothing unusual about that. In fact, that's been a thing for every White House photographer since Ronald Reagan. They all would put out their book of pictures and moments that they have captured on camera and all that stuff. Okay. In fact, George W. Bush and Barack Obama even wrote forewords for their own photographers. And so these photographers made some money. All right, cool. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But with Donald Trump, well, let's just say that he had to do the most Trump thing ever, and to try to squeeze every dollar he could out of other people's work. Now, Trump aides had initially asked Craighead for a cut of her book in advance. But why? You didn't do any of the work. You didn't do any of the work. You didn't take the pictures. These are my pictures that I took of you. I was the photographer there. And so why would I give you money? Well, they sweeten the pot with a little bit of an offer, saying, oh, well, we'll write the foreword, which other presidents have written for free, and we'll help with promotion. Okay, but why? Why would I need your promotion? And why would I want why would I want to give you my money from the book of work that I did for you to write a stupid foreword? No. And in fact, knowing how it's Trump, having his foreword might actually detract from the sales. Just saying. But now, that's not enough. It actually gets worse for her. The aides then decided to ask her to hold off on the project. Oh, no, hey, you know what? Hold off on that book. Hold off on that book, okay? In the meantime, Trump published his own, using her photos and photos of other people. So basically, he just took work that she had done, her pictures, as well as other people's pictures. And by the way, to be fair, it's in the public domain, but he takes the work and then he puts it in his own book, captions it, and then is selling it. That book is titled Our Journey Together. Our Journey Together, yes. And it came out in December and includes no photo credits. There is some credit in the final page, the acknowledgments. Otherwise, no photo credit. Now, again, when you go back to during the time that she was taking these photos, that she was actually doing this work, Trump would regularly say insulting things about her while questioning her skills, as a photographer in front of White House guests. So wait a minute, apparently those pictures are terrible, and well, I really question your skills. But then later on, I'm going to steal those same photos and caption them in order to sell it in my book. And by the way, he made a lot of money doing this. How much? How much? According to Trump's publisher, a company that was co-founded by, shocker, Donald Trump Jr., it's a family affair. The book has actually sold 300,000 copies at about $75 a piece. For the unsigned version, guess what a signed version costs? $229.99. Just for the unsigned version, sales would net that company about $20 million off pictures that Donald Trump does not own. Wow. And on top of his advance, the ex-president will presumably be taking a cut of the book sales. She got robbed. And again, her work, her pictures, and he just took it right out of her pocket. What allegedly rich person does that? Does something like, come on. Now, again, to be fair, if you're a billionaire, you generally, you did that by stealing the value of your workers' labor. You don't get to be a billionaire without stepping on people, okay? So this is probably one of the most blatant examples of stepping on people for that. And by the way, alleged billionaire for Trump. Now, that said, during an interview with the Times, Craighead actually offered no criticism of Donald Trump. Very, very bizarre. In fact, here's what she said about the whole situation when asked. I stay apolitical as possible, as I am a neutral historical documentarian. By staying neutral, I am able to remain a keen observer. Okay, and so, look, I get it, but this isn't about politics. He stole your work. And again, put the acknowledgement after insulting you day to day on the final page in really small type. So now the project, of course, that she was working on, well, she's no longer going to do it. Why would you? Why would you? What would be the point? What would be the point of releasing the book? Her work's already out there, but captioned by Donald Trump. Now, just because she wanted to stay neutral doesn't mean everyone else has to, and a lot of people weighed in. Eric Draper, the chief White House photographer under George W. Bush, had told the Times, quote, "It's a slap in the face. I would be disappointed if I were in her shoes." Well, yeah, I agree. I would be as well. Here, you also have former White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham talking to the New York Times. Shea's a very talented photographer, and this was really all of her hard work. I just came thinking, what a shame that he is actually now profiting off of it. But then again, this is a guy who is hawking caps and all kinds of stuff right now to raise money for himself. But it's actually worse than that. Y'all remember that he created a fake college to scam students. And Trump University, a fraud. You know that the Trump family also literally defrauded a charity. They don't care who they screw over. So again, this is no surprise to anyone, you know, that seeing that Donald Trump has once again stolen work and screwed someone else over. Now, Taylor Budowich, however, a spokesperson for Trump, did not dispute that Craighead had discussed doing her own book with an aide, or that it had been suggested that Trump receive a cut in advance. And in the statement, he said this. He said that Trump decided to do his own book first because of his longtime love of photo selection. Saying this, quote, "President Trump has always had an eye for beautiful and engaging curation, which came alive through the pages of his book." You want to see an example of his engaging curation? Because, by the way, throughout this entire book, he captioned all these photos. Here's one of them. "Attempting to listen to crazy Nancy Pelosi in the Oval Office. Such natural disagreement." And another image of Nancy Pelosi. He said this. "She was screaming and shaking like a leaf. She's effing crazy, hence the name Crazy Nancy." And then, of course, he talked about late GOP Senator John McCain. Trump noted this, "Asking for a job for his wife, and I am smiling, but I didn't like him even a little bit." I mean, a Facebook founder, Mark Zuckerberg. Trump wrote, "Mark Zuckerberg would come to the White House to kiss my ass. His censorship is terrible. For America, his campaign contributions, even worse." So this book is essentially a bunch of stolen photos. Well, not stolen, they're in the public domain, but a bunch of photos that he didn't take, that he's taking credit for and profiting off of personally, and is using as basically a diss track. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that profound? profound curation.